right, I think everything's up and running. Good morning, everybody. We'll let some people trickle in. Sebastian, good morning. Appreciate you saying hello. Oh, charts are looking decent. I think things are looking okay. But at the very least, the levels are clear. That's probably the most important thing. We got some interesting signals on things like gold. Indexes as well. I think indexes are setting up decent. Possibly. Maybe even oil. I just glanced over at oil. Either today or maybe, in the back half of the week, oil's looking very decent. Hopefully you all can see what pattern has potentially began to develop. And of course I can't predict the future depending on how today closes. We will see. William, good morning. Everybody hear me okay? Audio sound all right? Am I close to the mic? So I don't get 20 minutes in and someone says, I can't hear you. I don't know what's going on. Good evening. John, good morning. Good to have you back. Loud and clear. All right, good deal. Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon. Good evening, some of you. Wherever you are in the world, I hope you're doing well. Paulie, good morning to you. We're going to hang out for a bit. Heck yeah. All right. I think that we've got everybody that trickles in has trickled in. And I think we're going to get going here. Just a reminder. There it is. This is not financial advice. The information on this channel is provided for education, informational purposes only, without any expression or implied warranty of any kind, including warranties of accuracy, completeness, or fitness for any particular purpose. Please feel free. Pause the stream. Read through this. Good deal. All right. So, first red day, first green day, inside day, breakout day. 3 days of breakouts. Those are the things that we're looking for. We can also find 3-day templates where we've been going. Market go up, market break other side, market try to go the other way, and then basically a 3-day opportunity where it sets up that way, where you have market go up, market trigger other side, market try to go back to the high, and then market reverse. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen here. I'm just demonstrating sort of what I'm talking about when I say, those 3-day opportunities. Mainly looking at how yesterday closed and how the previous couple of days look in order to determine what I'm looking for today. I'm not even necessarily building a bias. It's just building a, what template am I looking for and why, and then going from there. Okay, so I'm looking at NASDAQ right now. I'm on a 15-minute chart, and very first thing that I noticed is market was pulling back or going down. We made a lower low down here, and then we had an inside day. So what I'm going to do is, I'm not saying that we're going back to this level at all. That's not what I'm saying at all. But what I will say is we've been going up. They triggered this level, and then now they have gone back to the high. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to label this as where the pump has began. All that is me consciously saying, hey, this is the last time they touched the previous day's low, and this is where the breakout has began, because that's all it is. They've triggered previous day's low here, and then they've started to go higher, so that's where the pump essentially has began. We might even be able to say that, it started from here, but I'm going to use this one. Okay. Then we had this inside day on Tuesday. And then as we continued into the week, yesterday, we had FOMC the minutes in the afternoon. And the most important thing is that we triggered the low, so market go down. Market's been going down. And now we've broken out and triggered the high. So now, potentially, market go up. Even more importantly than that, we have a breakout level or a breakout market. And when you're in breakout, you're looking for one of the three things that markets do. Jimmy, good morning. So market has broke out. Is the breakout going to succeed or is it going to fail? A lot of times you can look for things to come out of your end of day consolidation from the previous day. It works back down into the level, and then you get a low of day trending opportunity back towards the high. Sometimes you will also have instances where maybe like Asia triggers the previous day's high, London pulls back, it goes into consolidation, and then New York turns into the squeeze to go back up through the high. Now, normally when I get this set up, I'd like to see it consolidating just below the previous day's level. A lot of times that is going to provide a little bit better of a setup, whereas if it triggers the high and it pulls way back, a little bit too far, I think the probability of that continuing to go higher kind of reduces. So looking at today, what could I be looking at? What could I be looking for? We're still on the inside of the end of day consolidation from yesterday, and I think on the inside of the previous day's New York session, the morning session, high and low. Man, I cannot find the thing. I'm blind. There it is. Like this. So this kind of, our box really is the breakout level, but this has created a range. And realistically, I don't want to trade on the inside of this range, okay? I want to wait for them to come to the outside, trigger levels, previous day's high or whatever. So maybe we might see a trend opportunity through the high. I probably would not be willing to take that because it's just not a playbook opportunity that I actively look for. Okay. Now, if it would have triggered the high and pulled back and gone into consolidation for the trend move, playbook. If it would have pulled back to the breakout level, gone into consolidation and engulfed, playbook. But coming off of the low of the day and making higher high, and we're already in the second swing, that's me kind of trading direction at that point. Okay, so I've used a ton of words to describe that I don't really care for the NASDAQ as much until we get back up here. All right, US 30. We've dropped it down. We've been in breakout now to the downside from Monday. Opening range for the week. Dropped it down. We broke out of previous day's low, so Friday's low, and gone into consolidation. Shaky, good morning to you. Okay, so I'm going to project that across. And then now we've been in consolidation, Monday's low. So the opening range low for the week. And the breakout level, we've been in consolidation now for 1 day, 2 days, and possibly the third day now of being in consolidation. We broke out. We had an inside bar on Tuesday. On Wednesday, they triggered the low of the inside bar first, going back and triggering the high of the inside bar, which could potentially be a higher high. And then they also closed in breakout going higher. Okay, now I'm going to project this across. I don't really need to project this across because I've already got the breakout level over here. But I do think that this is interesting. We've triggered the high. This was also a first green day. Okay, we triggered the low at the low of the current week. We made a higher high, first green day. We've dumped it back down into the low, push 1, push 2, push 3. We've made lower lows, we've broken, we've made higher highs. Now, realistically, And ideally, I've always said this, I like to get in on the first pullback, and that using timing and things like that, they usually will provide a really good squeeze. This is a beautiful pattern because we've got the lower lows. They spike to a higher high, but instead of, just following through and completing the pattern, spikes to a higher high, gives a really nice first mouse, push 1, push 2, push 3 into the low, and then you've got volume trap below P2, or at least people trying to trade down into the low, and a strong reversal off the low. So this is your first pullback. This gives you a really good opportunity to get in just at the wrong time of day, unfortunately. So how does that lead us into the session now? We're still making higher highs and higher lows in a market that is possibly first green day and in breakout going higher. I wouldn't mind watching US 30. Okay, I'd like to see, realistically, I'd like to see a break back above here strongly, or else this could turn into a 3 peaks in a down moving market, and we might be going back to the low. So I have to be careful of that, but I would be interested in looking for the first green day opportunity. Do you having a real move? Yeah. All right, gold. Okay, I think gold is a pretty decent looking chart. Market go down, trigger once, trigger twice, trigger 3. So we've triggered the previous day's low 3 times, and they've kind of been turtle peaking. The turtle's poking its head out and pulling it back in the shell over and over again. Just kind of inching its way down. And then yesterday we got the squeeze off the low of the current week. Market has opened. We've had multiple days of dump. Market has opened, attempted to go lower, closed above the opening price for that day, and also the previous day's close, which was the lowest close within the week. And then today has now broken out of previous day's high. So yesterday was the first green day. Very clean, I would say, first green day as well, just the way that the pattern is developed. Does that mean it's going to continue to go higher today? No. Does it mean that I should be watching this pair? Absolutely. Either for today or maybe sometime in the rest of the week. As things continue to develop. So let's look at the 5-minute chart. With anything, especially a market that's already in breakout, right? So beginning of the day, they broke out of the previous day's high. So what happens now is the previous day's high was the top of a box, and this now became the bottom of the box because we are in breakout going higher, where now the high of the day becomes the top of the box. Identifying what box we're in, the reason I do that is so that way we can measure. I can measure from here to high of day, and if we do get an expansion of a range, whether that be today or maybe even tomorrow, we might be looking at an expansion of that consolidation, and now I know where to measure from. Okay, and it also helps me to visualize breakout, pullback, and possible continuation if it presents. So how would I know if it was going to present? Well, I don't know for sure. But what I do know is that I can look for the market to make higher highs and higher lows. It looks like we had a higher high made, was that London session, and a pullback, and a higher high in end of London. And then in the gap time leading into the New York session, it broke down and made a lower low. Does that mean we're going to continue to go lower? No. Does it mean that I have a high and a low in place coming into the session? Yes. So that is what I'm going to focus on. We've got this low here. We've got the high of the day, which is the high. I'm just going to make sure I highlight this to make sure I'm aware of the fact that the market did make this lower low. And again, that is not a 100%, what am I doing? It's not 100% mean that it's going down. On a higher time frame, this might have just been a wick. This could have been a wick on a 15. Let's see, what time is this? 55. So actually, this was not a 15-minute wick. Actually, it wasn't an hourly wick either. I think it was just a down closed bar. Yeah. Interesting. Okay. Okay, it's 9:30 right now. Reconnection success. Am I still live? Hopefully. I'm not dropping any frames, so I think everything's okay, right? All right, let's go. I think everything's fine. We're back. All right, cool. I don't know what happened. All right, Russell. So very similar to the other indexes. Market was going down. I know that because we were breaking out of the previous day's low and closing. Broke back up above on Tuesday. This was the first green day. Yesterday, we had so this was inside first green on Tuesday. I think this is a far cleaner chart, or a chart that is much more clean than some of the other indexes. We've got the low, inside first green, explosive parabolic move in the afternoon session, probably because of, FOMC. Closed in breakout going higher. Breakout day one after first green day. Okay. All right. And then we triggered the level today. So we triggered previous day's high. We pulled back. It's gone back to the high again. Let's look at a 15 or a 5, excuse me. Let's see here. Yeah, I like the Russell, I think, a lot more. And then we've got oil as well. Okay, oil might be unfortunate, but I think this possibly already been missed. We had the low down here. They broke out 1 day, 2 day, triggered third day. Inside, almost first red, pretty much the same behavior. Opened up today, started making lower lows, lower highs. Triggered previous day's low, which is a lower low. Popped back up, and 9 o'clock, they started the move, which is unfortunate. Lower low, 3 pushes. You can kind of see right here, 1, 2, and then 3. And notice it pushed, and it pushed all on the inside of this bar's range. Broke out, immediately failed, and then followed through. A little bit of price action. Anyways, let's go, and I'm going to get into a four-way here. Joseph, good morning.